Okay. So, now we will discuss about just like say I have decided that at least I will give an idea of all the forms of IPs to the technologists and engineers, and now you have to decide where which form of IP will be interesting for you. So, considering that I am just thought about give the idea of all the forms of IP, although for engineers and technologists specific forms of IP will be more interesting or more useful, just like patents and copyrights and utility model, IC layout design, but even trademark, but you should not deny the importance of others also. If you are managers or you are working in organizations, all can be an valuable asset for an organizations, including the branding. You know that brand value nowadays people are more cautious about the branding and other part. Okay, there you cannot deny the role of trademark, whatever we discussed, and now virtual world, the role of trademark and internet. So, that was the things. Now, very important part I will discuss now, that is somehow related to even India, considering India is a traditional knowledge based country, then how the traditional knowledge of any particular region can be considered as a valuable asset for micro economic situation created, then as a social architect or as a economist, how can you create a particular framework for that. That part you may learn from this particular forms of intellectual property. Although you may ask what creativity, what sorts of things associated with that, all by following the Paris Convention, you may consider this is a industrial property, but let us see how this is also interesting for you, that you may consider what engineering, what technology involved in that part, but I will say some managerial aspect, some social aspect, some economical aspects is associated with these forms of IP. So, you cannot deny the importance of these forms of IPs. Okay. So, now the name itself, that the IP, I will not go the jurisprudential aspects, the original aspect, origin aspect, how it has come up as a separate forms of IPs, and that I will not come up. Then I discussed the two topics just previous class, certification mark and trademark, certification mark and collective marks. You may get some sorts of relevancy with reference to this. Okay. So, the name itself suggesting the geographical indication. Geographical means definitely the place. Indication means mark. Okay. So, I am layman understanding, I am telling the place mark. Okay. So, place mark. So, what is, let us say, okay, this you may ask me whether you are telling about the place mark, okay, geographical and mark. So, let us see how this thing can be correlated the nice way. So, indication means, let us say, so indication, let us say I am just reading the definitions of the geographical indication, then I will discuss about the important about the different attributes of this thing. So, geographical indications are indication which identify a goods as originating in the territory or a region or locality in that territory where a given quality, reputation and other characteristics of the good is essentially attributable to its geographical origin. Okay. So, what is the say the things let us say we are correlating with the definitions. So, what we are getting that it is indication, okay, not deny, I am not denying, it is indication. Okay. Indication, what indication of what? Indication of a goods. Okay, then you will noted mark is also indication of goods. There I am telling the marks. So, you may consider indication, indication is also like a mark. Okay. But indication to identify a goods. So, trademarks also identify a goods, but what? Here let us see the difference as originating in the territory or a region or locality in that territory. Okay. So, now to use the geographical indication of our goods, what we are getting? So, we should be originated goods. What will be originated? Originated, origin of the good linked with a particular place. That way, we are telling the territory, originating in the territory or region or locality in that territory. So, if it is originated in the territory or locality, it is sufficient? No. Along with that, it should have some quality or characteristics or reputation, should have quality. So, from that place, that okay, that place goods and quality, reputation, okay, or other characteristics. So, other characteristics. So, if I say that geographical indication establish product, place, PP link. P for product, P for place. Okay. So, now that part. Okay. So, now, so that way you understood now geographical indication, the indication of mark. Nice way you may design a mark. Okay. Indication just like say when I consider trademark, what are the different types of indication mark you can use. Similarly, here also different types of indication just like say word, label you can use for indications of that things. Okay. But special thing what you are getting that particular product place link, product and place link, and that product have some sorts of attributes. Okay. So, product also required some attributes. The product also should have some attribute, VUTES. Okay. So, what type of attributes the product should have? It should have some reputation. Okay. It should have some other characteristics. Let us say, okay, basmati rice. Okay. So, basmati rice have characteristics, aroma. Okay. So, characteristic aroma of basmati rice. Darjeeling tea has also particular aroma because of the characteristics leaves. Okay. See that Assam tea may be different characteristics because of different aroma. Odisha ikat having different types of traditional art compared to Andhra ikat. Okay. Pachampali sari or Pachampali sari is different from Sambalpuri sari with reference to the traditional art. Okay. So, what I want to mention the each goods having some sorts of attributes. Similarly, let us say Agra Petha, Joynagar Moa, Tirupati Laddu, Chanderi Sari, Bikaner Bhujia, then Pasmina, Hyderabad biryani, seri, then then Scotch whiskey. Okay, then let's then particular pork based product in China. So all those products have some sorts of attributes because of maybe the agroclimatic condition and soil conditions of that particular place, or maybe the knowledge of the people of that localities, okay, or that locality have acquired that skill or knowledge by virtue of traditions. Okay. So, or based on that the product has some reputations, reputation has built because of that just like say place linked, just like Agra Petha, if you consider, definitely have some reputation and definitely that have some attributes also. Okay. So, now how to capitalize the attributes of the product originated from a particular place, there lies the role of geographical indications. Okay. So, so that like say way that the product place link, there lies the attributes. The attributes are maybe subjectively verifiable or objectively linked. Subjectively verifiable, okay, just like a Darjeeling in a particular tea gardens, the locality I am indicating, in that locality the soil having some sorts of characteristics with reference to, let us say, there like the role of agricultural scientists, agricultural engineers, the soil having particular alkalinity, acidities, maybe salt content, nitrogen contents, all sorts of things. Then they have a particular humidity level, agroclimatic condition, soil conditions that lead to the development or generation of a particular tea tree, I put it out, let us say trees. So, there definitely lies the tree leaves characteristics or tree leaves characteristic, you are linking that particular tree leaves length, width and other part you are linking, and that thing you are linking with reference to the aroma of that tea. Okay. So, now, so what you got it? So, Darjeeling tea from that maybe particular 30 tea gardens, having you are getting a particular range of agroclimatic and soil condition that is providing some sorts of tea leaf characteristics, and tea leaf characteristics giving some particular varieties of tea that is providing some sorts of aroma. So, how to capitalize that subjective characteristics that lead to the aroma? Then there lies the geographical indication. Okay, then you treat a Darjeeling tea, the tea geographical name as an indication of the goods originated from that, or you may create this type of logo. So, there lies the creativities, or you know the logo of Darjeeling tea, that a woman plucking the trees from the tree leaves. Okay, nice way they created. So, again this logo is also creativity is involved in the creation of this logo. So, these indications they may used with reference to that particular tea to establish a product place link, and that way they can do marketings. Okay. So, this will ultimately provide the peoples to with reference to the source and quality. Based on this logo will indicate that okay, this is originated from that particular tea gardens, or Darjeeling tea names will indicate that okay, Darjeeling tea means the tea produced from the gardens of that particular 30 gardens located in a Darjeeling hilly areas of Darjeelings. Okay. So, then that type of things. Okay. So, indications I want to mention that you may indication come up in the form of a place name, like Agra Petha, Hyderabadi biryani, or may come up in the form of a non-geographical name, just like Feni, Goa Feni, Basmati, Pasmina, Chandheri, all those things. So, some cases you try to capitalize the place name, some cases you may use a particular names that people are using with reference to that product maybe, and that way you indicate the goods originated from that particular place. Okay. So, with reference to intellectual property, the creation of that indications, creativity involved in that part. With reference to the economy, use just like say how that product place link, how you establish the product place link with reference to the particular place, what characteristics with reference to that goods you will put to separate it from the other similar kinds of goods, just like Andhra ikat versus Odisha ikat. Okay. Pashmina, with reference to that, you know the issues with reference to Pak and Pak occupied Kashmir and another part, Kashmir, Indian part Kashmir. So, with reference to that issues. So, Basmati issues is not yet settled properly. Okay. So, that way as we understood that role of geographical indications with reference to with reference to intellectual property and with reference to particular economy. Why I am telling the economy? Because with reference to particular product, if you established a product place link based on some attributes of that product, then you can thought about particular indication to market that product. How you know that European communities have capitalized their wine and food product in the form of some indications, just like a you know that Sherry versus British Sherry cases, then Scotch Whisky Associations cases in different cases in India. Okay. So, these are the things that how that particular indications is so important with reference to a particular product. Okay. So, on that context, just like say if I try to mention that economy and management part. So, learned about that. So, say it established product place link. So, that recognize the essential role played by geographical, climatic and human skill in and to with reference to that quality. That product place link, how you are linking, maybe geographical position is giving some sorts of climatic conditions or some sorts of human skill, just like a traditional skill acquired by let us say handloom industries of Odisha for reflecting a particular traditional art in a textile product, like say sometime you call that how will you put animal object in a textile goods and how really make that animal lively in a textile product that will ultimately give marketability with reference to that product. So, there lies the role of human skill. So, human skill you are translating in the form of an important industrial property, intellectual property by virtue of that geographical indications. Okay. Just like a human skill part, I refer let us say Sambalpuri sari, that also definitely skill have acquired by virtue of traditions. Okay. So, similarly, that climatic condition with reference to the pasmina, and pasmina have been used for manufacturing of the shawl and other kinds of things. Particular varieties of fur is used for that product. So, that way if you as a social architect or economist you are thought about, you can nice way use these tools for economic development of a particular locality. So, what way you can that you find out that how human skill is reflected in a product or some product with reference to that skill, you can link with reference to that product. Then immediately you try to establish a geographical indications and indication with reference to that product, and nice way you create an indication, try to market that product and create a governance or supply chain integrity with reference to that product. Then definitely you will get some return on investment that will be transferred to the every individuals who having the skill and who is producing with reference to producing that goods. So, that way you understood that the role of geographical indications for development of microeconomy is important. Okay, so that way you understood that somehow I am not answering the legal part, but managerial part and economical part is also essential here. So, it is totally economy part. Okay. And also you understood that there are that how the skill part you are translating that objective part, objective way linking with reference to the product. So, it helps producers to differentiate their product from competing product in the market, just like say Darjeeling tea versus Nilgiri tea. Similarly, let us say that what I want to mention, Orissa Ikot versus Andhra Ikot. Orissa Ikot, it is different from the other Ikot. So, one important part is that here not an individuals, it is linked with a particular place, then definitely linked with a particular communities or the producers of that good with reference to that particular place. So, somehow it is not a private right. So, whatever you consider the monopolistic attitude by means of private right like a patents somehow will not reflected here. It is a community rights, the community people in that particular localities can acquire right with reference to that particular geographical indication. So, greater goal is for the development of a communities using a particular product, their community involvement for with reference to the product by virtue of as a virtue as a producers by virtue as a producer, just like textile industries or handloom industry, the weavers, how the weavers can be a weavers can get some return out of their labors or investment and difference return with reference to their skill. So, then you are thinking about this not as a the reference to that private property and monopolistic attitude. So, totally economy driven and community driven. So, you call it is called sometimes we call it not it is not a private right, but somehow a community rights. So, we call public goods not public goods, sorry, not public good is an economical context, we call public rights with reference to a particular good, and we may generally consider as a community rights means producers rights, producer means who produces that goods in that localities by virtue of what that say virtue of their origin in that particular place or virtue of their skill they acquired with reference to that good because of their location because of their origin or location in that particular place. Okay. So, then build a reputations and goodwill around their product, then price premium associated with the better reputations. Okay, that this is also the particular product having some reputation with reference to that place because of their traditional knowledge or traditional skill. So, then definitely they will build a reputations with reference to that goods and they will maintain a particular supply chain integrity. They are lying the role of managers, understanding that okay, or say social managers or producers along the producers, and then they will ask for a price premium associated with the better reputations. They will ask for a price premium as they have some reputations with reference to that product for that particular localities. Understood the value of Darjeeling tea nowadays, Darjeeling tea, and it is a used in several countries and definitely they have acquired some reputation. Reputation is associated with a particular place and that aroma. So, they have to maintain, they are getting a price premium out of that. Okay. So, then it also try to protect the cultural heritage. Sometimes people try to put it as cultural property because of that culture, so that because of that particular place, particular skill, they have developed a particular cultures with reference to that product. So, that product by virtue of that geographical indication try to protect the cultural heritage of that particular localities, just like culture developed based on the skill. The skill have been reflected. Even if you go to a particular just like particular weavers family, then weavers family or their association create a particular cultures out of that, just like say that culture will be reflected in their activities. So, understood that roles sometimes plays that geographical indication to protect the cultures, cultural heritage of a particular community. So, whether it is a cultural property. So, these are the different philosophical questions you understood. So, okay. Then why need protection of the geographical indication? It have huge commercial potential, just like it may boost rural development, feta cheese, economic values, France 17 million euro, Italy 12 million euro. So, somebody if you don't, community should not get protection of that particular product having reputation and the skill involved, then ultimately somebody may free ride on their reputations or their skill, then that lead to the loss of revenue of genuine GI right holders or producers, and consumers also will mislead. Now, private people are using the geographical indication or are using a particular indication and marketing their product, they are not definitely will try to give that same thing and it will be misleads. Okay. And definitely it try to protect the traditional knowledge of a particular product. So, GI protection protect the interest of both the producers and consumer of the GI as a large societies, because producers will get benefit out of that and consumers will get that genuine product from the actual GI right holders or producers. So, then automatically it will create a win-win situation for the producers and consumers. So, there lies the role of geographical indication. So, what type of protection mechanism available? So, they thought about okay, whether it will be protected by means of certification mark and collective mark, whatever I discussed earlier. So, these things also give some quality attributes. This thing is associated with a group of people association. Yeah, you may use these things also, but there lies some pros and cons with reference to the use of certification mark and collective mark for geographical indication. Although US they try to govern the geographical indication by means of certification mark, collective mark till dates, but the sui generis for protection, form of protection, one its own kinds of protection, just like geographical indication registration is more important. It also can be unfair competition, common law type of tools can be used for with reference to reputations that and their use. So, unfair competitions law can be enforced for protection of geographical indications, but most of the countries they created a sui generis forms of laws based on the TRIPS agreement. TRIPS agreement, as they signed the TRIPS agreement, based on their TRIPS agreement, they have created a taking the general framework from the TRIPS, they created the law, just the Geographical Indication Act in India we have. So, follows the Indian legal protection based on geographical indication of Goods Act 1999. USA may be governed by certification mark and collective marks, that geographical indication. In some cases, common law protection is also available. So, okay. So, now say let us wind up with reference to geographical indication, why it is important, how intellectual property, what is the role of you people as a social architect or a little bit knowledge with economy, how you can use this geographical indication as an important tool for your localities development. Definitely, I told that India is having the huge traditional knowledge with reference to that maybe with reference to the particular localities skill, or particular locality have a particular product having some reputations by virtue of its non-traditions associated with that. So, how can you use that thing as a potential marketing tools for the economic development of that particular locality? There lies the role of geographical indications, and also get benefit to the producers of that localities, and also consumers will also get a genuine product if GI goods and the other goods. Understood, GI goods we have some price premium with reference to the other goods. Okay, and that premiums will all be somehow by reverse flow will reach to that producers who is actually the grassroots worker involved, grassroots people involved with reference to that product. Okay, so let's wind up with reference to geographical indications here.